Welcome back, everybody, to another episode of Comics Della Morte, episode 70, Path of the Pale Rider. And we have the writer here, Laurie Calcaterra. Is that how you pronounce it? Or is it like a Spanish?
Yeah.
Okay. All right. I didn't
No,
know if.
you got it spot on.
All right. Okay. Awesome.
I don't know
Yep.
how my fingers work in reverse, but y'all
Awesome.
know
All
what
right.
she is.
And you know me, Ronnie Gunter, Crimson Owl Comics, and my co host, Jason Alexander, Fogbreaker Studios.
Yeah, y'all know me. It's old foggy. How's it going, everybody?
All right. So, as our.
Hold up.
Oh,
Hold
yeah.
up.
Go ahead. Go ahead,
Hold
Jason.
up. We're not going to not talk about ransom notes.
Oh, okay, yeah. Promote your stuff
We're
first,
not
and then we'll
we're
get
not
into
going
her.
to no. We're not going to not talk about ransom notes. Sorry, everybody. But this is Fallbreaker Studios. I'm releasing a comic called Ransom Notes Arrested Development. It is a sci-fi, horror, poetry, short story, anthology comic based on my upbringing in a
Mhm.
cult. And I would like to show y'all the cover that I'm limiting to 75 issues, I think. Then I'm gonna switch to
Wow.
the standard. Let me do a screen share real quick. Y'all know I'm an old man when it comes to this kind of technology, but I did a pretty dope comic, so y'all got to bear with me for a second. All right, here we go.
Yes.
So this is the cover. I wish I knew. Like, this is also where I say I'm an old man because I don't know how to make this page zoom in. But hold up, I got an idea. All right, we can talk for a minute. I'll show the cover better in a little bit. How's that?
Gotcha.
All right,
Okay.
that's all I got to say. Check out my link tree. The book is coming out. Like, if you place your orders now, you'll get a book very soon. How's that?
I
I'm just
want
waiting on
one.
the proofs to come back. Awesome. All right, I'll hit y'all up with some info.
That
After
link tree right there.
check my link
Cool.
tree.
You have to send that to me,
And
please.
All right, you
and you
got
know
it.
me, guys, check out A Vengeful Heart. I'm working on episode 4 right now. And just I love it. I love it. I love horror. I love writing horror. I love watching horror, drawing it. It's my thing, you know. That's why we got this show. And
Yep.
our first time guest, Lori here. You want us to tell first off, you want to tell us a little bit about yourself and how you wanted to pretty much write this story and why you love horror so much?
Ooh, okay. So starting the beginning about me. I'm ooh. Do I have to? All right. I've been a horror fan ever since I was a kid. My mom will tell you, like, I was always that little girl, like Halloween, you know how everybody wants to be a princess or a cheerleader, or
Hmm.
I wanted to be the zombie princess or the undead cheerleader. It's always been that way. When we would go on vacation, we would go on these 2-week road trips with a camper, and we'd
Yeah.
go to this town and we'd pull out, we'd go to the information center and we'd pull all the pamphlets. And I was always finding the haunted house, like the haunted
Right.
depot, the haunted this, the haunted that. And my mom would look at these pamphlets and be like, "You want to do this?" I'm like, "Yeah, yeah." So I would drag the whole family through, and they'd all
Oh,
get
that's so
mad at
awesome to
me.
let you do it.
They would.
That's awesome.
They were out. They would always do it, and they would always get mad at me because by the end, my sister was crying, my brother was crying, and I was like, "Yeah, let's go do
Oh,
it
that's too
again."
money. That's awesome.
Oh. So to my sister who does not like horror, I'm sorry. Like,
Mm.
probably my fault. Um, but I enjoyed it. So that's always been me. And I know we'll talk more about like which horror movies have really influenced us and brought us into
Hmm.
the fold, if you would call it that. But we'll talk more about that. But I had this idea back in 2018. I was writing action and spy dramas for a production company in Detroit called Coattail Collective. We were working on a
Oh,
web
that's cool.
series, and I was choreographing fight scenes, and I actually acted in that one. I use that term loosely. I mostly like punch people through walls. That was fun,
Yeah,
and
that's
ran them
awesome.
over with cars. Yeah, but I had this idea. What would happen to the Earth if the death process was broken? And now, um, I've seen a million zombie movies. I still watch them. I'm still enjoying
Yep.
them. Like Train to
Mhm.
Busan, We're All Gonna Die, Alive, hashtag Alive. So there's still coming out with new things, and it doesn't matter if it's the old thing. If they do it in a new way, I still watch it. But
Mhm.
this is different. So well, I say I broke, but the way I wrote it, I broke the death process for everybody, everything. Death no longer works. So the body will die, but
Mhm.
the soul stays intact. So you are still animated, but you are still yourself. And this goes for people, animals, insects, everything. So now you have the horror of being in your body as it decays,
Wow.
slowly going crazy, not being able to trust yourself, or watching a loved one slowly descend into madness and decay. Um, and then the whole gamut of issues that this creates now. So it's like if animals don't die, meat production changes like real quick.
Oh,
So
yeah.
we lose beef, and pigs, um, chicken, really anything, that we're eating in mass quantities, it just goes right out the door. Because if it's still animated, one, how do you butcher it? Even if you manage to kill the body, it's still
Yeah.
animated. Two, if you go to eat the meat, is it still moving while you eat it? That's kind of gross,
Mhm.
Oh my goodness.
right? So
That's pretty.
Can't
That's
get my
pretty
hands on
exciting.
this. That's just exciting
That's
right there.
that's really good stuff. That's really really good stuff.
So we create a famine, on top of that, insects don't die, so now pesticides don't work.
Oh,
Um,
yeah.
insects, to me, in this world, insects are only good at a couple of things, right? And they're not really smart. You know what I mean? Like
Right.
someone like you and I, if we were undead, we would probably know that we died at some point and
Mhm.
understand like you don't need to eat anymore, blah blah blah. But insects, if they're stupid, they probably still eat.
They just
Um,
do the things.
yes, they're just going on autopilot. So if they're now you have a horde of undead insects eating crops and pesticides don't work, how do we produce crops? So it's
Yeah.
like all sorts of famine, all sorts of water issues because now we have dead things floating around. You know what I mean? Um,
Mhm.
and then we have this whole population of people that are undead, but still in the beginning have some sort of semblance. So it's like they
Yep.
want their rights, they want to be able to drive, they
Mhm.
want to have property. They don't, I mean, all those things end in our world, right? So when you die, you lose, you can't own property, you can't vote, you can't have a firearm, you can't drive. All of these things go away. But now when you're undead, do you keep those rights? And for how long?
Right.
What a
And
sandbox this is.
it's
Holy shit balls. That's
yeah.
really awesome.
So this
That's
is the
crazy.
world I've created. Um, so when you start in episode 1, you're
Mhm.
following Jude St. Clair, and you really have no. It's like it's kind of ambiguous. So you'll see him in different settings, and then it looks like the Old West, but he obviously has technology on him that isn't our technology. Future, like
Gotcha.
steampunk looking, right? So
Mhm.
something is not right. And then he's on this path searching for something or someone. And I haven't really told the reader that. You will find out when you actually read episode 1 what he's looking for.
Yeah.
Um, but I mean, we're 10 years into the apocalypse. Things have devolved to the Wild West. Um, most people 10 years into any, I mean, 2 years, look at us, into any crisis have moved on,
Oh, for
right?
sure.
We're indifferent or we're just trying to scrape by. We're just ready for it to be over with. But in this world, it's 10 years and Jude is still looking. So he's looking for the answer to the question, why do the dead no longer die?
Mhm.
Um, he has this journal of conspiracy theories. It could be, I mean, has explored already so many, being 10 years into the apocalypse, but it's like, is it the rapture? Was it something chemical? Is it a virus? Is it a government conspiracy? It could be so many things. And when people don't die anymore, can you really discount any theory?
You can't.
Mhm.
No. So that's what he's looking for, something or someone on this path, and it just gets increasingly dangerous. Sound is a big thing in this world. It's just it's insane the things that I just put him through so much. I almost feel
So
bad.
how So as a writer, how do you create around sound? When you're doing when the ultimate reality is for this to be a comic, you know?
Well, when I wrote it, it was a screenplay.
Oh, really?
Okay. I got
Yeah,
you.
because I was in production, so sound wasn't an issue for me. However, I mean, there's ways to convey sound, and my illustrator is ingenious when it comes to things that like are hard to see. Like he was telling me about how he was drawing a comic where someone stepped on a booby trap and like the floor went down and it triggered a trap. So
Yep.
he actually drew like a side view with the skeleton, like you could see underneath the person's foot and an image
Yep.
of the actual trap and how it got
That's
activated.
awesome.
So
Yep.
he's so ingenious when it comes to thinking outside the box. I have no doubt that he's gonna
That's way
accomplish,
cool. Yeah.
you know what I mean?
Yep.
So
Totally.
like in the first 8 pages that I show, it's really important that they're quiet. So Jude actually has a horse named Prince, and he puts soft shoes on her hooves so that she makes less sound. So we tell the reader, you know, if you use your context clues, you can understand that being quiet is super important. You know, when he does stuff that's outside of that and he calls himself stupid, it's like, why am I doing this? Like, this is dumb, you know?
Right.
But that's who Jude is. He's just kind of like, I should do this, and then does something opposite.
That's
So.
awesome. That's really cool. I can't wait to like. You can tell like this is no. Does this have an ending? Like, do you have like a does this have or is this ongoing?
It's ongoing right now. So I have. So like
I'm
I
gonna
said,
share one
when
of
I
your
wrote it,
pages if you don't mind.
no, please start
Just
showing them. I'll just
yeah.
keep talking.
All right, awesome. One I especially really like.
Which one? The splash?
Let's see. Do.
So when I wrote it, Jason, it
Yeah.
was a full-length movie. So it's actually 13 episodes to get through that whole first arc.
Nice.
I'm
I really
currently
like that
writing.
bear.
Oh God, I love this page.
Yeah, that's so awesome.
So here's.
What's
Hey,
up, Peter?
Peter. So they're on this road. Jude is looking
Hmm.
for whatever, and him and his horse go around a bend, and there's this zombie hand sticking out holding something, and he like has to wrench it out of its hand. It goes flying in the air. He like dives to catch it, and it's this like glass tumbler with the map of Las Vegas on it. So
Yep.
he's like
Hmm.
looking at it, trying to figure out what the heck it means when this and a crow flies by. He's just like, oh my God, what am I doing? That was so stupid, right? So he shoves it in his saddlebag, and all of a sudden you see all of these crows flying around the corner. He goes around this corner and there is this dead bear all the way across the road. So there's no way to really avoid it. He has to go over it or turn around and go back. So they go over it as quietly
Hmm.
as possible, and they make it until the horse trips in a pothole. The
Uh,
glass, the glass that Jude made the decision to stop and pick up, falls out of the saddlebag and shatters, and this wakes up the bear. So now, of course, you have that awesome oh shit moment. You know,
Right.
the bear, we lovingly call him Big James. So Big James is now awake and pissed off. Um, so this is about 2/3 of the way into episode 1. So we actually have pages before this, and then there's about 8 pages after this. So you'll see the resolution of that. Yeah, check this
that's
out.
awesome.
So obviously this road is not safe.
Yeah.
I love this top panel. So good.
Yeah,
So
I
I mean,
really enjoyed
like
it.
I said, like you're just getting a view of this cowboy on a horse. Like, where are we? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Hmm.
And as you move forward in the story, you're like, oh, we have zombies.
It's like
Oh,
the world is still happening
Yeah.
in the midst. It's very
yeah,
similar to some of the stories that I'm telling through Ransom
Hmm.
Notes. Is
cool.
very similar to a comic that I did more on the techie side of Eternal Life and not on
Yes.
the undead side, but very I don't know, it's a very cool concept and it's
Thank
very
you.
original. I dig it.
Thank you.
Oh yeah, for
Thank you.
sure.
So, I mean, but we get a lot of gruesome moments,
It's a horror
of the
comic. You
undead.
got to.
I mean, I love it. And I was talking with Marco, my illustrator, and I was just like, you have permission to be as gory as you want to
Yep.
be. This is not for kids. Show the maggots, show the blood, guts, and gore, and the rotting flesh. We're gonna kill people in just about every grisly way you can think of because this world is like, what's that movie? A Million Ways to Die in the West.
Yeah.
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 Yeah,
That's
so
Awesome.
we're gonna squish a bunch of people. In fact, we can squish you if you want to. We have a level on our Kickstarter where we'll draw you into the comic, and I guarantee we'll kill you.
I was going to ask if you guys had
Of
your
course.
favorite perks yet. Like, what
Yeah.
were you guys looking forward to? So
That's
I'm
awesome.
excited to know more about that. That's really cool.
Yeah,
sure.
so the Kickstarter goes live tomorrow. Dun dun dun.
That's
Awesome.
awesome.
Awesome. So, let me see.
Ask me more questions. We'll talk about the world some more because I love it.
With the world, with the whole zombie things, like what really, as a writer, like how are you going to approach like the whole bug thing? Are you going to have like a
Mm.
close-up shot of like bugs flying by, or just like a swarm of them flying by and eating people?
You'll have to read episode 2.
Oh, okay. Gotcha.
Is it two,
Gotcha.
2 or 3? I forget. I address it later on, but you will see a giant horde of bugs and what
Hmm.
happens with them. But like so I start out the story with Jude in the apocalypse, and
Yeah.
then I actually give you an extended flashback. So we'll have a couple episodes where we go back to the beginning
Hmm.
of, the death process being broken and how Jude, was first exposed to it, how things very quickly deteriorated and the crazy things that were happening,
Yeah.
Um, and so I'll reference like all of these things, like the government and like how they step in and start taking rights away from the undead, the riots, just the unrest. They create a police force. They create discs, which are this technology that you'll see Jude wearing,
Hmm.
where if you tap it, it will beat with your heart. So visually, it'll turn green with your heartbeat, and it will also have the sound of the heartbeat.
That's
So it's just
awesome.
a real easy way for like a police officer to walk up and tap
To
it and
know
be
you're
like, okay,
alive. Yeah.
yeah. Because in the
So
beginning, it might be hard for them to tell.
Yeah.
sure. So
Rigor mortis hasn't set in or anything.
Say what?
Rigor mortis hasn't set in. Little horror joke right
Right?
there.
so it sounds like you have a history. Like your world has a history.
Yes.
Do you have like? Is there like a physical map of all your big landmarks? Like, could you get around a town in your world? Yeah.
Yeah.
Awesome.
It's based off of this world.
Okay.
Um, so
So
most everything.
real places. That's awesome. Okay.
Yeah, I don't reference them
Mhm.
fully, but I mean like if you read between the lines, you can figure out where
You
they
can know
are.
where you are. That's
Yeah.
cool.
Yeah. And
Nice.
they're all like it makes sense how he travels between them. They're all close to you know what I mean?
Right.
Gotcha.
Relatively close, like
Yeah.
a travel. That's cool.
So if he's on horse, it makes sense that he could travel to these places. He's
Hmm.
not going from New York to LA, you know what I mean,
Hmm.
on a horse. Or if he's walking, you know what I mean? It makes
Yep.
sense. So I keep it more based off of real world. Um, yeah. Even to
Yep.
the
Gotcha.
point where I was talking about the technology. What
Hmm.
do people do when we have things from the government? We hack them.
Yep.
Yeah,
Totally. So
for
it
sure.
still
So,
happens. Yep.
Hmm.
mhm. So, I mean, you
Very
have
cool.
fake driver's license, you can have a hacked disc. So maybe
Yeah.
you have an undead and they're
With a
wearing a hacked
heartbeat.
disc.
Hmm.
Yeah, with the
Yep.
heartbeat.
So, so with you writing this story, you said you started in 2018.
Yeah. Yep.
So, you know, w- with zombies, pretty much it's one of those things that people think that, we have too much zombies in the world with like books, movies, TV shows. When you really wanted to like tell this story, how hard was it for you to like, really sit down, write, and be like, okay, and especially when you get ready to start telling people what this
Mhm.
idea was, how hard was it for you to like really like find your voice in this world of nothing but zombies left and right?
You know, it's actually been a little bit of a challenge, believe it or not,
Hmm.
because I've had illustrators where I'm like, hey, I have a couple scripts. This one is my better one.
Hmm.
Yep.
I have my A game and my B game, right?
Yeah.
So my A game was this one, and my B game was The Agency, which I wrote for the web series, which is still a great series, but I think this one is a little stronger.
Sure.
And they would look at them and be like, "What's this one about? A spy drama? What's that one about? It's a zombie one. I don't even want to read the zombie one because there's too
Right.
many zombies." And
Yeah.
I'm like, "But it's not. It is, but it isn't. You know what I mean? It's not. It's not incoherent, flesh-eating zombies that you shoot in the head and they're done.
Hmm.
This is way different. There's no escape. There's no escape from this. And I'll cover that too. Like, there's people that think that because they're a zombie, they can shoot themselves in the head and be done. But all they did was make themselves more unpredictable because now they can use less of their brain.
Yeah.
So there's
Too
no escape.
too many
Which,
of is just an
yeah.
opportunity to stand
Which,
out.
which is
Because
when
if
those,
you
Yeah,
can
well,
if you can pop somewhere that's like
different.
saturated, you got something special.
And
And
people love zombies. I do.
absolutely,
yeah,
yeah.
for
That's
sure.
why Walking Dead was so awesome in the
Yeah.
beginning.
Mm.
And,
In the
and,
You
you
beginning.
know, with this story, I could see it being really great because it has some elements to it that people could relate to. There's many people that I see who are like in their 70s and 80s. They retire from their main job, and then
Mhm.
their retirement doesn't pay enough, so they have to go work part-time somewhere else. So it's like with these zombies,
Yes.
they're pretty much out. They're living so long at probably at one point where they spent all their 401k and spending all their life
wait,
savings
wait, wait.
because it's
Zombie.
gone.
Oh,
That's what I'm just thinking. Because
It's like
originally
you
they had to
could
be human.
die on a
they
Friday.
still gotta
Yes.
pay bills. You
I
still
mean,
gotta
if
pay
you own
bills.
property, you got to pay
Wow,
a
come
mortgage, right?
on.
That's just so horrible. It's like you could
That's
die and still
unfair.
have to go back to work.
Like you saw what happened to me. I have a hole in my body.
Right.
Like
Right.
And no one wants to work with you because you stink. Um,
Yeah.
I mean, it just creates
man,
all these problems. But again, it's like, how long are they able to? Never enough zombies. You are right,
For sure.
Peter, for sure. But it's like, how long are they able to retain these rights?
Yeah.
Because if they're slowly going crazy or they're getting violent, right? Let's say they run over
anything
someone with their car because they don't think being alive is important anymore,
Hmm.
because nobody's
right?
gonna die.
Right. So what's the point?
Yeah.
Man, I tell you what, if you ever wanted somebody to just like tell a story in like this little pocket of your world, man, I would love to. Like, this
Hmm.
is really, really cool.
Well, okay, we got to get a few episodes in because I want people, and I've had someone ask me this before, like, at what point are you going to let people like write more like offshoots of your world because your world is
It's
so big that all these other
totally.
things can happen. And we're going to address that too because my comic is not the only thing that's happening in the Kickstarter. We have short films and we have riddles and Easter eggs
There
and
you
Oh,
scavenger
go.
really?
hunts.
That's awesome.
I've built a whole thing that goes with it. But you got to get, oh, it's like almost to the end of this. I don't know. I don't know if it's necessary or
No.
not. It's like you have to understand what's causing it because I answer the question why the dead don't die. I
Hmm.
answer it. So if we can get a few episodes in and people can understand the mechanics of the world
Yeah.
and the reason why, go ahead, right away. Send me a
That's
royalty
awesome.
check.
No, it's such a cool original idea. You don't
Oh,
you
for
don't hear
sure.
many you don't hear many on this side of the world. You know what I mean? Like you just
Yeah,
don't. So good on you.
yeah.
Like
Everything's
it's very
everything's a
cool. You guys are
rerun.
doing something exciting.
Yes,
That's
Awesome.
really
thank
cool.
you.
Yeah, I really enjoy that. That's awesome.
Do you want
So,
me to talk about what I just mentioned?
what's that? Yeah,
Absolutely.
go ahead.
Ooh,
Okay.
what are we waiting for?
All right. So the comic is obviously our main story, right? We
Hmm.
follow Jude St. Clair through the apocalypse to figure out the answer. But like I was saying, the world is so big and we have so many things that are happening. Um, you know, if it's not happening right around Jude, you don't get to experience it, right? We can't throw
Yeah.
everything at him. He has to have an actual path. So we figured we would include other ways to explore some of the content that I've written that doesn't happen to Jude. So every single episode that we release has a short film that goes with it.
Oh, that's awesome.
So episode one has a short film on the Kickstarter. When it goes live tomorrow, people can watch it. So we filmed a commercial for the undead retirement community called Prime
Oh,
5.
that's awesome. I love that.
So, but it starts out being this like serene commercial, and like it looks legit. It's like, come, reserve your spot today, live out your undead years, here, so that way you're not a threat to anybody. And it's like beautiful, and they're building stuff, and there's a pool, and there's a weight room. I don't know why you need a weight room. But and then it like starts to have static, and it glitches out to shots of riots and violence and things on fire. So it like replaces one another. You know what
Very
I mean?
cool. I
So
like
you
it.
have like the white picket fence, what we want you to think this world is like, and then the violence and the unrest, which is the world that's actually happening.
Gotcha. That's awesome.
So
Bravo.
There's
that's
levels to Kickstarters, guys.
Mhm.
This is
yeah.
pretty exciting. I love it.
That's awesome.
So we have the short film, and then for episode 2, we're gonna make it interactive. So you guys can
Oh,
participate in the short film. So I'm gonna open it up to the readers to submit 30-second films to me, and I'm gonna edit them all together. And so when we release episode 2's Kickstarter, everybody can watch that, the
that's
joint
really
effort that we
cool.
put together.
Yeah.
So like episode 2, the subject is gonna be conspiracy theories. So I want to have like examples of like crazy news. Everybody, I don't know where they always find those rednecks that they
Yeah.
interview. You know what I'm talking
Right.
about? Where they're like, "What happened, sir?" And he's like, "Well, I saw them aliens come down and they picked up my Mima and they took her around the field and they dropped her over there." And you know what I mean? It's
Yo.
always like something
I was just chewing
crazy.
my tobacco and I seen them right there in the woods. You know what I mean?
Right.
Yep.
It was Bigfoot and them aliens, they were
Right.
working together. And my Mima's missing. It's like, and it's something crazy. But it's like you can pick whatever conspiracy theory you want and
That's really
expound
cool.
on it, and then I'm gonna put them all together. So it'll be fun where we can kind of explore some of the other things that are happening.
Awesome.
And then the third part, but wait, there's more. I know.
Yes.
um, every single comic has a riddle built into it.
Yeah.
Oh.
So in episode 1, the back cover is the riddle. So if
Mhm.
you solve these riddles, it will send you someplace in the real world, um, either to a web page or a phone number, or you might get something in the mail from us. It's just something like you get to experience extra content just for
Yeah.
the people that solve the riddles.
So it's personalized almost because it's a reward for your effort involved in the story.
Yes.
People who are
Very
watching this
nice.
live and watching it after we're done, just enough of what she's given us is amazing, and just go out and promote it as soon as it starts
Yeah.
tomorrow.
We're getting dunked on, guys. Like, this is awesome.
Yeah.
You guys are doing something pretty cool. Like
Yeah,
Thank
for
you.
sure.
it's real. I'm very excited. This is
Thank
a
you. Thank
backable
you.
product for sure.
Thank
Yeah.
you. I mean, we wanted to be, different, of course,
Mhm.
but this is the kind of stuff that I would want to do.
Yeah.
Totally. Absolutely.
Absolutely. I want to participate. I want to solve riddles and either have bragging rights or get extra content, or like look at freaking Moon Knight. The episodes
Oh,
have QR codes in them. You can scan the QR code and you can get a comic. You can read it. I mean, like, yes, and that was one of my ideas, and I was like, who stole my idea? So we might still have QR codes, but I mean, we can't really send you to another comic. I mean, maybe we can
Right.
send you to like Ronnie's comic or Jason's comic. We could do
Hey.
that.
hey,
There you
hey.
go.
So that's an idea.
Awesome.
But there's just so many different levels to this, and I'm not doing stretch goals for those. Those are included in every
What?
episode. There's not a stretch goal to unlock the short film. There's not a stretch goal to unlock the riddles. They are always included.
So if you back it, you get all the benefits.
Mhm. I mean, you don't even have to back it. You can
And how long is the
you
short
can
films?
watch
Like,
the short film.
are they like a 30-minute?
The short film? Short
Yeah.
films are no, they're not 30 minutes. Oh my God, that's a full production.
Yeah.
Short films are like 2 to 7 minutes are
Right.
short films.
Gotcha.
So I mean, like our commercial is maybe a minute 30, maybe 2 minutes.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
So
Gotcha.
I mean, we're not talking about anything gigantic here. But I mean, if I open episode 2 up to the readers and I get a lot of responses,
Mhm.
Yeah.
it could be longer. It just depends on how many things I decide to put in there. If I have
Totally.
8,000 people, I can't put them all in, but
Yeah.
Right. But that will still be really cool, though. You
Oh,
know,
yeah.
like,
absolutely.
it's a
We're
great
like,
problem to have.
we have a
Mhm.
half an hour worth of footage.
That's awesome.
That's great.
Like, it's mostly Ronnie talking about Bigfoot again. I don't know.
Right. Right.
Ronnie's
So-
being Florida man again.
Right.
Yeah. Put that alligator down, please.
Right. So, you're a horror fan. What
Yes.
was like the first horror movie that you ever seen as a kid that you could remember?
Probably The Gate was one that really like stood out in my
Good movie.
mind. It's a great movie. I
Don't play the
remember.
song backwards. Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah.
I want to do that.
Yeah.
That one. I mean, okay. My sister and I have this friend named Megan Cinnamon. Love you,
Mhm.
Megan. She used to have us over for sleepovers, and we would watch scary movies. That's what we did. And like real early, and of course, I'm the youngest of the three of us. They were older than me, so we were watching like Pet Cemetery. I was maybe like 7,
Mhm.
watching Pet Cemetery, and I was like, "This is scary. I can't stop watching." Um, like that movie just turned so many things upside down, like a horror film where a toddler is the scary
Oh
thing
yeah,
Right.
for
chasing
sure.
you with a knife and he's under the bed. Oh, like
Mhm.
we didn't sleep that night, but it was good. Like so
Yeah.
those I think really impressed me as a child. Um I mean, but like a teenager, we saw everything. But like another one that really impressed me was Blair Witch Project when I was in what,
Mhm.
sophomore in high school when that came out. And let me tell you, the PR they did for that was amazing
Oh yeah, for sure.
It's
because
not the scariest movie, but that's the most scared that I've been watching a movie for the
Mhm.
time that I was. It was
yeah,
very intense.
because you thought it was real because they
Yeah.
made it seem like the actors were not actors, but they were
Mhm.
missing and it was
Missing
found
students.
document,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
And it scared the crap out of me because that's some shit that I would try to do. I'm
Yep.
gonna go debunk this because I'm not afraid, and I'm gonna end up in the damn woods, and I'm gonna find this hut and end up standing in the corner. Like,
Yep.
god damn it.
Yeah. So would you say that's your favorite horror movie of all time, or
No. I mean, if you're gonna go favorite horror movie of all time, it's got to be The Exorcist. That one's still,
okay, awesome.
I mean, it's a classic. It still
Yeah.
scares you. When they released the extended cut
Yeah, it's pretty
and like
scary.
they had her going down the stairs upside down.
Mhm.
That was it. I was like, wow, I'm so like this brings on a whole new level, you
Oh
know?
yeah, for sure.
So
So
that's probably yeah. Go ahead.
so when you started writing, did you write horror first?
No. No. Um
Or was it the spy novels and action that you did first?
yeah, because that's what I was doing. I was choreographing fight scenes. So I was writing more like martial arts and spy novel type
So that's
story.
pretty much where you started.
Yeah.
That's pretty
But
cool. Okay.
That's awesome.
yeah. But I mean, it's a completely different genre. I still love it because I'm being a martial artist. I've been a martial artist for 25 years. So I
Yep.
still love like the good, but I mean, like sometimes those two overlap because there's so much gore, like The Raid.
Totally. Yeah.
Oh yeah.
I mean, so many martial art films where you're like, ooh, that's a nasty kill, you know?
Mhm.
There's not
Yep.
anything supernatural or sci-fi, but like the action is spot on. And it's like,
Yep.
whoop, he did.
For
So
sure.
Yeah,
I enjoy that.
I did a martial arts story in the mini comics that I did
Yeah.
last year, and you're right. Like they become so gory that it almost becomes eerie.
Yeah.
And this does have a few sci-fi, a few horror elements to it, but
Mhm.
that's the only place that it can go. Like once you realize like people are ripping their bodies apart
Mhm.
and still
Mhm.
fighting, like there is
Yeah.
something. There's something horrific about that,
Yeah.
but
Yeah. Now,
Cool.
in Path of the Pale Rider, it's like you can't do that anymore. It's like you can't be a gunfighter in the West because you shoot a guy and he's going to shoot you
yeah,
back. It doesn't
Right.
matter.
right.
By
So
the
I
time
had to
you're
come
done,
up with,
you're going to be drinking that water, and water's going to be coming out of all the holes.
right? It's just going to come right back out. So I had to actually address that too. I had to change like how weapons work. Um, You know what I mean? Where they stop manufacturing guns even because what's the point?
What's
Yeah.
the point? Yeah.
So they
Gotcha.
go to more of like a taser.
Y'all gonna say be more of like a containment or a stopping
Yep.
enough for you to move away from, because
Hmm.
that's the only real resolve at that point.
Right? Like the bear. It's like how do you get away from that? It can run faster than you. It has teeth, claws. It can swim. It can climb trees. You're
It's a bear,
screwed.
right? It's
You're
just you
screwed.
won't die. Yeah.
And you can't
Yeah.
kill it. So I leave that for the last 8 pages.
I can't
Awesome.
wait. Yeah.
Awesome.
That's worth
It's
the
So,
price
bad.
of admission.
It's bad.
s-
It's
so
bad.
that's so Exorcist is your favorite horror movie,
Yeah.
but out of, with all the horror movies, who is your favorite
Um,
like horror movie slasher and why?
Slasher. Hmm. I mean, they're all so good. I mean, like Freddy
Yeah.
will get you when you sleep, so you don't want to sleep, and
Yeah.
uses your dreams against you. It's like Michael Myers, you just can't kill him.
Hmm.
Same thing with I mean, Michael Myers and Jason are kind of the same. I mean, like their origin story is different, but it's like it's the slasher guy behind the mask that you can't kill no matter what you do.
Yeah.
Um, I mean, they're all kind of slashers are. I mean, to me, it's like I like them, but they're not
Hmm.
my favorite. I like more of the cerebral. Um, I don't know, like even like what's his name, Rob Zombie's movies.
Okay. Yeah.
Those
Yeah.
to
Oh,
me are more slasher, but still, it's like there's a story behind them. The Fireflies, um,
House of a Thousand Corpses.
House of a Thousand
Hmm.
Corpses, amazing work. But it's
Oh
like
yeah, for sure.
that's more slasher to me too. But it's like that one had an actual story behind it. So maybe more something like Rob Zombie-ish.
yeah.
Um,
Hmm.
than like I mean the other ones are classic. Don't get me wrong. I watched all those as a kid too at sleepovers, and it's like you there's so many you just like you get used to them. You're just like, oh, here he comes. Oh, don't do that. Oh, here he comes again.
Right. Right.
So
For
they become
sure.
a little predictable. You know what's a really great one that nobody ever mentions? Event Horizon.
Oh
Yeah.
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 That's another one that's high up on my list because it's so different. Clockwork Orange. Yeah,
Yeah. That's
even
a
that
classic
one is
right there.
still, I mean, like that one messes you up too, but it's
Hmm.
like, it's not even like a slasher like a supernatural, but it's
Hmm.
more like what depravity and what humans are capable of.
Yeah.
Right.
Extremism. You know what I mean? So that one, it's like, it makes you think twice about that one. Like Event
Sweet.
Horizon, they're in space and it's like, where is everybody that's on this ship? They're missing. And then you slowly find out that's like black
They're in
holes
the
are not what you
worst
think they
dimension
are.
ever, right?
Oh yeah, for sure.
Like, no, you should probably go.
Just go
Hmm.
back to Earth. Just figure it
Right.
out there. Leave everything else alone.
And there's some really good actors in that, like Lawrence Fishburne, Sam
Sam
Neill. Like
Neill. Yep.
Yeah.
it's all good, you
Hmm.
know. Um, so that one's high on my list. Some of the new stuff has been really good.
Oh yeah.
Hereditary. What's the other one
What
that
about
he did?
Midsummer? Did you like
Yes.
Midsummer?
Oh
Yes.
Oh,
my God, I love
Midsummer.
that. You know why? It is so well written. If you look at the images in that place, that the hut, whatever, what do you call it, where they're
the
sleeping?
Hogger. Yeah,
Yeah,
Hmm.
where they're sleeping, and all the images on the walls. That's everything. Go look
it's
at it.
everything.
Yeah.
It's such a cool movie.
Hmm. For
It was
sure.
Like
so well done.
being an ex cult member, like
Oh,
is so uncomfortably spot on in places. Like
ooh,
Hmm.
even her emotional trauma
yeah,
is very familiar, and it's just such a great horror story that's set in like this beautiful bright blue sky
yeah.
off the side of a mountain world. It's everything that I want to do with horror. It really,
Yeah.
really is.
It's like you're in paradise, but it's very wrong here.
Yep.
But even like the opening credits, it's like,
Hmm.
what are we looking at? And then it's like it hits you with this horrific moment right from the get-go, and it's like, okay, this is what we're in for. And then
Yep.
it like you said, like it's a 180 to this like paradise. And it's like, where are we? What is going on here? And then the
You
cliff
sh-
scene happens, and you're like, this is bad.
yep. You should
This is bad.
check out some of my stories that I've posted on my Instagram. Like
Yes, please.
it's very, very similar in a lot of ways unrelated because I just saw Midsummer, but it's very similar in a lot of ways to what I'm creating with Ransom Notes.
Cool. Yeah, I want to
And
read your work.
with you know, a lot of Jason, he's finally seen the movie, and a lot of people love the movie. So I'm gonna ask you about it.
Mhm.
As a writer and as a horror creator, how do you feel and rate John Carpenter's The Thing as, you know, a good horror movie?
I enjoyed The Thing. I really did. Especially when you find out what the heck they're saying to them in the beginning.
Hmm.
That like that sets everything off. You know, it's just like if only they knew that they were trying to tell them all along.
Yeah.
But the thing is just so classic. It's pre CGI. All of the effects are real animatronics and real effects that they're doing, which is just amazing. And like
Yes.
the feeling of dread
Hmm.
is
Totally.
number one in that movie. You know what I
Yep.
mean? Like you don't know who you can trust. You don't really know what exactly this thing is. So then they start, and it's almost like that Hitchcock, where it's like the alien comes down
Yep.
and they all blame each other for being aliens, but none of them are the alien. It's
Yeah.
almost that
The
feeling, and
blood
it's like,
the blood test scene. Oh my
yeah,
goodness.
Oh
That's
yeah.
the scariest part of that
Hmm.
movie. Like forget all the other horror, but just imagine waiting to
yeah.
know that you're fine. But if these people who might be losing their minds think that you're an alien, they can kill
They're
you
gonna
right
shoot you
there and
anyway,
nobody's ever gonna know.
and
Hmm.
you're in freaking Antarctica, so good luck.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's definitely one of those things like the just like The Exorcist, The
Yeah,
Thing is one of those things that I could probably like, hey, let's have a round table of like horror creators and just talk a whole show about like every single detail about that movie just because
yeah.
it's so good with
It's
like
so
the
good.
writing, like the character development, like you actually get to know like each character and how
Mm-hmm.
they are personality wise.
Yeah.
Just overall really awesome.
Mm-hmm. I'm,
So,
I'm I'm a fan, of course.
oh yeah. And speaking of being a writer for horror, is there a limit that you won't go to when it comes to horror?
No.
All right. Well said. Well
Everything's
said.
on the table. I mean, like I built the world, so I stay in the constructs of the world. But
Yeah.
again, I kill just about everybody. Um, so nothing's off the table. Yeah, lots of death, dying, destruction, glorious, gory.
I say
Nothing.
if you're telling a good story, then I think you can talk about anything.
Yeah.
Uh,
But if
yeah,
you're
and
just doing it to do it, people
yes,
recognize it. Like
Yeah.
you won't feel it.
Hmm.
everything is story driven.
Yeah.
Everything is and a lot of it is character decision. So
Yeah.
Jude's decision ultimately lead to what's going on, and sometimes they're disastrous. Things that happen because of things that he has inadvertently said or done have led to some crazy things. Um, it really blows up in his face.
Yeah.
Who
Um,
didn't love choose your own adventure books?
Right.
You know what I
Someone
mean?
has already suggested that to me too. Like, you need to have a that kind of situation with Path of the Pale Rider. It's like you could even do that with your decisions of whether you're going to support the undead or not.
You
Hmm.
guys got something that's very very cool. Like
For
you
sure.
guys really like no bullshit. Like this is
Mm,
a idea that I'm very excited to see
thank you.
grow and
It's
blossom.
very
It's really
original.
really cool.
Thank
It
you.
really
Definitely
is.
original.
Yeah, very well done. I can't wait to see it.
And it's funny because when I first wrote it, and I didn't know what to do with it,
Hmm.
because I wrote a screenplay and I kind of let a few people read it. Everybody saw it in their own medium. So people from production saw it like me as a movie. People that are into comics saw it as a comic book, like my husband. Other people see it as a video game because they're gamers. It's
Yeah.
interesting to me that everybody saw it the way that they participate with entertainment. So I knew I had something when everybody internalized it. You know what I mean?
Yep.
Hmm.
So
Yep.
I was like, I got to do something, but what do you do? So comic book was the way. My husband was like, it's a comic book. And I'm like, you're right. You're right.
It
Yeah.
really is. It really is the most universal medium for a separate universe of people.
Yeah.
Like
Yes.
you can connect to so many people who think like we do that don't do comic books.
Mm-hmm.
And that's something that you really can't do in reverse. Like we're kind of the gateway. Like comic books
Yes.
are kind of the gateway to this alternative entertainment, whether that be games or different ways of getting content out, like TikTok. Like I got enough confidence to start a TikTok from enjoying my writing so much and enjoying the comic making process so much, because it was just once the ideas started to flow, it all lends itself to creativity. And so when you can create something that everybody sees different, I think you're absolutely right. You know, it's a home run. You can look on YouTube and see 37 different interpretations of the Shining movie.
Yeah.
That means that you told a good story because everybody resonates with it and they're all sure that they can back up what they came up with. And it's the ultimate compliment as a writer is for people to be able to feel themselves in your work. So I think I'm very excited for you guys. It's a very original idea. I can't.
Oh yeah, for sure.
It's very weird to like hear something this cool just on a random Thursday night. So
and it was so random. I was on Peter's podcast and Ronnie was there and he was just like, please come on my show. And I was like, absolutely.
I'm like stalking. I'm like, oh, a horror comic artist or writer, come on the show.
Yeah.
We need more of you. We need more.
Like it's horror. Existential horror, being stuck in a body as it decays.
Oh yeah,
with no escape. We have a really good, almost like ethics that we talk about, like how ugly humans can be to each other. I take a big spotlight and I really show the ugliness that we are capable of.
Awesome.
And it's all based off of things that we as a human race have done to each other and are still doing to each other. We're still doing it. So there's that. I mean, there's all sorts of things that we address, that we, talk about. What happens when you're a pile of bones?
Yep.
Because there's no escape. Are you still in that pile of bones?
Yeah. What
That's
is
crazy.
it? Does it happen when your brain falls apart? What if you're still there after? How would you know? Yeah. Oh my gosh. Here we go. Hello, anxiety.
Hello.
That's what I'm talking about. Like, it's horrific to me to think like, there's no escape. In most apocalypse genres.
I took your co-host too. No.
I'm not gonna touch that one. In most, like apocalypse and zombie genres, like there's a way out, right? You have to either conquer something or stay alive long enough. You know what I mean? But even if you die, you're dead and you're out of it. And in this world, it's like, it's terrible. And then you die and it just gets worse. So there's really no way out. Which to me, it makes it so much worse. So, and then we have all the terrible ways that we can kill people now. So.
Yeah. Awesome.
And there's still a cowboy.
We got Old West. We got like Mad Max. We got like, and depending on where Jude goes, the theme will kind of change. We might have a little noir episode, you know what I mean? Where it's like he's in a place where that style would make sense now, or
very cool.
He's back in the West, or he's in a science lab, or you know what I mean? There's so many different things that he can encounter in this world, so it's like
that's awesome.
It's ever changing. I write in so many twists and turns and surprises, and pretty much every episode ends with, oh crap, how is he going to get out of this? So
that's cool.
Very cool. I'm excited
for sure.
So
I don't know what you plan to do for the commercial, but I could just see like you doing crazy stuff like product placement, like, hey, here's aging cream, make that decay make you look younger, you
figured it out. Actually, that's one of the things that I tackle is like, because people are so ingenious, right? That if there's an issue like being undead and not being able to pass as living, we tackle it. So what common chemicals do you have underneath your sink that you can combine to make formaldehyde, or you know what I mean, or mask the signs of aging, tightening your skin? how much preparation H can you slather on yourself to tighten your skin? You know what I
Mhm.
mean? Or it's like,
Yeah,
what
what does
makeup
it matter? Like, you're
combination?
not gonna die. You can put any noxious smell in your house.
Yeah.
It's not gonna kill
I could
you,
see I
or
see a corpse
kill
like
you
trying to
worse,
dye
I
their
should
hair,
say.
making their
Yes.
hair look black instead of gray.
You ever seen that movie Death Becomes Her?
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, think like that. We could spray paint you, but that might be their tell now, their
Yep.
smell. You know
Seeing
what
a
I mean?
corpse get trying to be in a suntan bed.
I don't know if that'll work.
What's that bacon? Put some bacon in
Right.
here.
That's funny. That's awesome.
But there's even like this whole underground helping the undead because
Hmm.
again they start out as this minority and they're oppressed, right? They start getting their rights taken away, they're protesting, eventually they get separated, so we have this undead retirement community that I've talked about where now they're
Hmm.
living apart. um
Yeah.
Maybe they don't
Yes.
want to live apart, maybe they're on the run, maybe they're in hiding, maybe they're in the underground to take them someplace safe.
Yeah.
So it's there's so many things, so
Yeah. I
many
could.
things.
You probably are thinking about this, but I could definitely see how you're probably going to have some people who are like zombies, and they're just so mentally gone at that point where they're trying to find ways to just kill themselves because they don't want to live.
We talked about that too. It's like how many people um saw zombie movies and
Hmm.
thought,
Yep.
okay, if I shoot myself in the head, I got to destroy my brain and then I can be done,
Yeah.
and then just make it worse.
Yikes.
Hmm.
Yeah. So
I'm here for it.
there's that whole when we start separating undead from living, then we talk about like, what if, like for me, I'm a mother. What if I die
Yeah.
and
Right.
my kids are alive?
Hmm.
Right.
Or vice versa. What if one of my kids
Yeah.
die and I'm alive and they come to get her? What do you
Right.
do?
Yeah. Now, I don't know if this will be I don't know if this would be a
Wow.
spoiler, but like not like recent people that died, but is it like people that died like 20 years ago, 100 years ago? They're not going
No,
to come
someone
back?
asked me this. No, no.
No.
It's
See,
like there's a very distinct
yeah.
point, like the death process was working and now it broke and everything
Right.
going forward does not die.
See,
So
that could be
Right.
like
something
sad. Yeah.
happened.
Hmm.
Something
Yeah.
happened. So someone was like, "Are we going to see undead dinosaurs?" I was like, "No."
Right. No, it's
No.
just like zombie apocalypse. It just starts.
And
It,
and
it
Something,
starts from
yeah.
a 0 point,
Yeah.
not
yeah,
the 0 point. Right.
And that'd
right.
be interesting too because I could just see it like being a person, you know, you could have had a relative, you could have had like a parent, a spouse, or even a child die, and then
Yeah,
you die, and then you realize that you are never going to die. So it's like
yeah,
it's like no matter what you do, you like try to like bite your dead loved one, try to find any way to bring them back, but you realize that they're never coming back, even though you're able to live forever. That yeah, I could see that being like really
not
crazy
horrifying.
going on. Yeah, pretty much.
It's intense. Yeah.
I mean, it was such a distinct moment in time. You could have had two people in a car accident and one passed 2 minutes early
Yep.
and passed, and the other one didn't and is now undead. So
Man,
I
that's
mean, like it's a
crazy.
very distinct. That's when it started. So I don't want to say any more about that.
Yeah,
Something happened. Um,
gotcha.
yeah. So
But so original.
fun
I
times.
love it. I love it.
Thanks.
Can't wait.
Yeah, we're gonna have
Yeah.
lots of fun.
Hmm.
Seems like I'm very excited. Thanks for coming on.
Yeah,
This has
for
been
sure.
I'm glad
this has been
to.
a very fun chat. I think this is going to
Absolutely.
be an important project in the realm of indies. It seems like this is a pretty original idea,
Hmm.
and I will back it, and I will let everybody
Oh yeah,
know who I can think of. What's up,
everything's in
Gary?
the kicks.
Thank
The
you.
link to the Kickstarter is down
Yeah.
below.
I was gonna say you should have. Hello. You should have. Did I send you the pre-launch page notification? Because if not,
I
I
th-
will.
You
I
did,
think
yeah.
yeah. Hmm.
I signed up already.
Yeah.
Okay, I was gonna say because it's really
Yep.
only good for today anyway. Parts of tomorrow. I'm pushing the button
Right.
tomorrow at 8 p.m. Eastern, and
Okay.
then we're gonna be
Gotcha.
live. So after that, it's like you can just look us up on Kickstarter, and we're there. So we
Awesome.
have all sorts of stuff on the Kickstarter page. I, of course, have the 8-page preview. I have a welcome video. I talk about the 3 different parts just in case like someone hasn't heard any of these interviews that I've been giving and they're
Mhm.
coming in fresh. It kind of gives like a short overview of like, this is what we're about. And then if you read, of course, we have like my stuff about myself and then stuff about Marco. I have all of our variant covers. Like we just had a variant cover drop today, which is amazing because it has a bunch of zombies and a broken
Yeah, that was
disc
an
in the
awesome
foreground.
cover.
I mean, so good. And David Rodriguez is fabulous. He excels at drawing gore. So I was just like, thank
Nice.
you.
Yeah.
I was like, I'm so excited about it. Um, so we have that one with the zombies, and then we have like Everett Watkins, who's also a comic creator. He writes a series called Boog the Outcast, which is more of like a young adult. It's fabulous, though. It's like
Mhm.
elfin creatures in the woods, and he comes up with these crazy ideas of, I don't know, it's all nature based. It's really neat.
Yep.
So he did a cover for me, which is more like the good, the bad, and the ugly reminiscent, where it has Jude against the sunset with like a smoking gun. Really cool. And then, of course, I have to have a Big James cover. So I have an Undead Bear, which was done by Jose Martinez, who's another comic creator who's a friend of mine. And you get to see Big James in all his gory glory. His like tongue has holes in it, and it's sticking over a tooth, and his eye is blown out.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
I mean,
That's
he's
why I
just
like
It
this
falling
series.
totally
apart.
reminded me of Annihilation. I don't know if you've seen Annihilation,
Yeah.
Yes.
but the zombie bear in
Mhm.
Annihilation was immediately what Big James made me think about. So
Mhm.
And it's funny because I wrote this so long ago, and when stuff
yeah,
starts coming out and it's like stuff that's in my script that I wrote years ago, I'm like, damn it, people are gonna think that I stole this and I didn't, you know?
nah, no,
Right.
no, no.
No, I'm
Right,
like, when you read the comic and you see some of the unrest, people are gonna be like, this is 2020, and I'm like, but I wrote it 2 years before 2020.
right.
Mhm.
So I want people
Yeah.
to remember that when they read this. It was prior to the pandemic and nonsense that all came with it.
Mhm.
Um, yeah, it's scary. So we have those 3 variant covers. We of course have Marco DeFillo's beautiful cover with the shattered glass and like all the reflections of things
Yeah, I really
on the
like that.
shat. I was like, how do you do this? Like drawing translucent glass is hard enough, and then he's drawing all these reflections on the glass.
Mhm.
Show off. It's so awesome. Look, I'm
For
so
sure.
glad that you're flexing with my project. Thank you.
For sure. Totally get it. That's awesome.
Right? And it's like that very much represents episode 1. It's like Jude's small decision to pick up this glass and it shattering creates this huge dilemma. So it's like this world is so dangerous, even the smallest decisions that you make can put things in motion.
Mhm.
Right.
So it really sums up like the introduction to Path of the Pale Rider. So we have all of those. Of course, I have a bunch of merch. Like we have PDF level at $5. I think at $10, I throw in a keychain. So if you just want something physical, but you don't, you're not really into key or in collecting comics, which I don't know why you weren't, but that's okay. You can still get the PDF copy and a keychain, but then like our physical copies start at $15. So you can get any one of those variant covers or Marcos at $15. I do have an early bird special at $15, which is Marco's
Okay.
cover. So you can get a limited
Mhm.
edition sticker that we're running, one for every episode. But
Nice.
I'm only doing 50 of
Yeah.
those, and then once those are gone, then that option's off the table. So then you have the
Cool.
4 covers. And then of course you start going up from there. So I think I have like um the Nat special where it's like you get 2 copies. They're all going to
Mhm.
be boarded and bagged, of course, because we're serious about what we do. But one will
Awesome.
be signed by me. So
Mhm.
that one you put away and you collect. And then the other one's the one you take out and you smell it and you read it. You know.
Sweet.
Yeah.
I know what I'm talking about, right? Everybody, you got to smell the comic. You
Yeah.
got to smell
No.
it.
Oh yeah. Awesome.
So I have that, and then they just go up from there. Like I have another limited edition. I have the riot patches from the short film. So my rioters have these armbands that have a broken disc, and it says "Dead outside, still human inside." So I have 50 of those that I'm giving away. I actually
Very
have
cool.
some that were used in the riot shoot, so we can collect those. Of course, we
Cool.
have T-shirts designed by myself. Lovely. Um, we just have all the merch. When you get to like $75 level, you get all 4 of the covers, and then Marco's cover is signed by both himself and myself.
Mhm.
The $100 level you get the same for, but that's where you get the draw in. So we'll draw you into the future comic and then squish you. Um, I do have a single $500 level, which I'm only doing one. It's called Singularity, and I'll be doing ordering a custom made Funko Pop of Jude. That's one.
Oh,
There's only one.
that's
That's
awesome.
really
So
cool.
if you're a
Nice.
super collector and you are into this project and you love Funko Pops, get in there early and get it because otherwise it's gone.
That's cool.
And that's
A
it.
one
Like
of
you
a
got a bunch
kind
of levels.
Funko Pop. That's really cool.
Yeah. Yep.
Well
One
played.
of a
I
kind.
love it.
All
So
right,
I
that's
got all
awesome.
sorts of future plans for riddles. Like I have
Yep.
whatchamacallit, Morse code and like ciphers and
Hmm.
invisible ink and all sorts of plans for that too. So yeah.
Very cool. Man, that's awesome. I'm excited.
Yep.
I'll stop talking.
No, it's
No.
okay. It's okay. It's
No. This
you
was
know,
good. This was fun. I love it.
it's about shining your book and promoting yourself. That's what it's about.
Yes.
So, you know, as indie writers and creators, it's important to bring to pretty much promote each other and spread awareness, especially when, like I said, everything is like in media, superheroes, superheroes, superheroes.
Hmm.
While there's not enough horror comics out there, even though the Comics Code was created in the first place because of horror comics. And that's why people started getting like picky. Oh, you can't have this in a comic. You can't have that. All because of horror comics. So,
Hmm. But now we're back to the do whatever the heck you want in your comic.
oh,
People will
yeah,
You
read it.
got that right. Absolutely.
exactly.
So we're
I'm
going to.
very, yeah. Same here. All right.
High five.
Let's do
Awesome. Yeah. So, so Jason, before you promote what you got going on, Lori,
Yeah.
whenever you got the next book out, hit us up.
Mm,
We'll get you on the show. Or
absolutely.
or if you want to just hang out and talk about a related horror comic topic, like, you're welcome on the show. You know,
Thank you. Appreciate that.
like I said, I would like to like have a bunch of us creators just come on the show and do a round table of like John Carpenter's The Thing, because you could talk like a whole hour about
So many levels.
like the character design, the character development, the different monsters it took to do all that stuff. So yeah,
Hmm.
but thank you
I'm
again.
down. Yeah,
Awesome.
I'm a little busy right now.
Oh,
Oh,
it's all
yeah.
right.
But
It's all right.
but I would love to come back on, especially for future episodes. And I mean, like even after an episode is out, if we have
Hmm.
some downtime between like episode one and episode two, I would love to come back on and discuss like what happens in the episode, because people are going to be mad. Yeah, people are going to be mad. But
Awesome.
but we can talk about like consequences of what happened. And let me tell you guys, when we get to episode 8, it's gonna
Hmm.
blow your mind.
Uh, maybe you
Nice.
guys do need like an after show, kind of like a Talking Dead type after show.
Yeah,
That'd be
eventually we need
awesome.
more. We need to have like the comic, and then we can, yeah, people
Yeah.
can, or
No,
we can do like Kirkman, where it's like you can letters to the editor or something like that.
yeah,
Write
this is
something
a
in, and then we can talk about it.
you guys. This is exciting. Like I love our little indie comic world, man. Like
Yeah.
Me, Peter,
I
I'm
can't
not
say it.
scary.
Yeah.
I can't say it
Yeah.
enough, man. And
Hmm.
it's there's all these pockets inside of it to where it's like horror writers and like some of the superhero stuff is really good. Like I
Oh
don't know if
yeah.
you heard of Wingless Comics, like their stuff is really awesome and they're building a superhero universe.
Yeah.
This is like the beginnings of a horror universe. And it
Hmm.
has a lot of opportunity and you can see how different this world is.
Hmm.
So
Hmm.
I'm excited to see what you guys do.
Thank
This is
you.
really cool.
Sweet.
It's been really encouraging to come on to different comic and writer Kickstarter horror podcasts YouTube
Hmm.
channels and just talking about the product, and everybody is so excited about it. It just tells me that I finally like found my people.
Oh yeah.
You know, it's like I'm getting to the right place because it's like when you share with your friends and family and they're like, "You're doing what?"
Right.
Hmm.
good for you. You know, you get that
Right.
patronizing, like, good job. And then you're like, you don't really understand what I'm doing, do you?
Right.
You know?
Oh yeah.
So it's great to find people that are like-minded and to say, like, here's my work. I've been working on this for a long time. I love stuff like this. If you love the kind of stuff that I love, come with me, you know, on this ride. It's going to be one hell of a ride.
That's just it. If one of us does something special, not only does it magnify it for everybody, but it also pushes the storytellers a little bit more. Like, I'm ready to get done and write. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I'm like, okay.
It's the horror version of Reading Rainbow. No.
Yeah.
Horror Rainbow.
Yeah.
That's your new theme song. There you go.
Right.
Add theme song writer to your resume now.
Right.
Awesome.
Check.
Yeah.
So funny.
Yeah. Y'all find me at Fogbreaker Studios. Hit the link tree. I'll have all my information up. I'm most active on TikTok right now. I'm thinking about moving some of my comic content over there too. But most of my comic content is on Instagram right now. But just look up Fogbreaker Studios. It's really just me, unless it's super sensational, and I'm a little boring for that unless it's horror. So
awesome.
You're silly.
And you know, Ronnie Gunter, Crimson Owl Comics. You can find me on my channel here, of course. You can find me on Twitch as Crimson Owl Comics, pretty much everywhere. And if you guys love the show, who's not watching right now live, and you're going to be watching afterwards, you know, you don't have to, but I have my PayPal here. If you guys want to, you know, donate to the show, I would appreciate it, because as all of us creators here, you know, our main purpose is to create our comics. But, you know, doing this show, I really love it. I really enjoy it. You know, we meet new people every day who are doing the same type of things that we love. And a lot of people don't understand, because not just as a writer and an artist, but sometimes, especially as a horror artist, you have to really like do your research. Is like, how would a person's head look if it was cut off at this angle? So it's like, you know, you have to like really do your research. So yeah.
Anatomy.
Exactly. And of course, you know, our special guest, you in the description, I have most of her links, her Instagram, her website, the Kickstarter launch. If I find anything else, I'll go back in there and edit it. So
we have a TikTok.
Oh, you do
Twitter,
have a TikTok?
an Instagram, webpage,
Awesome.
Facebook group. I think we have just about everything.
Yeah, I joined the Facebook group. Yeah.
You guys are everywhere. Awesome.
Jason, send me a link.
Yes.
I'll get you in.
Got you. Excellent. We'll do.
Ooh, we're really close to 300 members. You could be number 300.
Hey, I love it. I'll do it.
That would be awesome. We're going to celebrate.
Well,
right,
thank you all
good.
for the chats. Gary, Peter, we appreciate it. And we'll see you all next time. Bye.
Bye, Peter.